Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicki Howie of ChakraBoosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos. And welcome to this 6th video in our series of fun word games that can help boost and balance each chakra. What I'm doing in this series is I'm taking the name of the chakra and then finding 7 to 10 words that boost and heal that chakra that start with that word. So the challenge for you is to think of the words that would start with the same letter as the chakra. My throat. So in this particular video, I'm going to go to Brow Chakra rather than third eye because we just did the throat and we did T words. And so I wanted to jump into the B words. They seem like a lot more fun. Your third eye is your brow chakra because it is located right in the center of your brow. Its element, we say element because only the earth really has elements, but its aspect that it's led by is light, just as the throat is led by sound. So it's led by light. It is the highest feminine. It's wise. It's where we have a balanced perspective and a love of beautiful things in the world. We have that feminine eye for justice, for balance, right? The scales of justice, for things to be fair for everyone. It's where we have not just outer perception that's very wise, but we have inward sight, we have insight and connection to our higher self. So this is where our psychic abilities emerge, where the part of us that is still embodied or still in contact with the embodied us exists. So there's a difference in the allness of the crown and then the higher self in the third eye. The higher self has an actual, I don't want to say personality, but it's a beingness versus once we get up to the crown, we're just connected to everything. So I hope that makes sense. It's a beautiful, beautiful chakra. And I find that right now, as we are all growing so much in 2020, that the extreme chakras, the root for safety and grounding, and the crown and third eye for connection to this acceleration, this expansion that's happening on our planet, for connection to the divine and how we're all connected to each other, has become so much more important. These chakras are the key ones right now, the extreme chakras, way down in earth, and the ones that help us to touch the heavens. So, brow chakra, what B words can you think of that help to heal the brow chakra? I'll give you just a second and then we'll begin. Of course, you can always pause this as well. The first word that I've chosen for the brow chakra is balance. And that's because the third eye is the chakra that's tied to the movement of the Ida and Pingala and even the Sushumna channels of our body. These are the 3 main channels. If you're a yogi, you're probably already familiar with these channels. If you've seen pictures of chakras, you've seen these winding nadis, these moving energies like snakes moving up. And if you've seen the medical sign of the caduceus, you've actually seen the intertwined snakes, which are representing the Ida and the Pingala. When these 2 energies become perfectly balanced, we are in good health. Why? Because they represent the 2 extreme sides of our dual universe. And again, everything is unified, but we have a lot of dualities moving. So we have an appearance of black and white, hot and cold, dark and light, forward and backward, and I can go on and on and on and on. The Ida is the lunar channel in your body. It's the channel that's related to what we call coolness and to the feminine. It's connected to the left side of the body, the feminine, and the right side of the brain. The Pingala, some people say, and I like to say Pingala in my American accent, is tied to the right side of the body, to the more analytical left brain, and to masculine fire and heat and getting going. Can you feel that? Okay, so these two, they wind up through the chakras because the chakras, as you know, which I've been sharing with you in so many videos, are all about opening all of us, which is the masculine and the feminine, for unification. So the Ida and the Bengala, they move up the chakras and they come together in the third eye. So I feel like I want to sing a chorus. Ah, like they just come together and it makes this beautiful choir come into an incredible chord that has so much harmony. And so this is the place of balance. Now, how can you get balance here? One of the easiest ways is to do something called Nadi Shodhana. Nadi Shodhana is a breathing exercise that helps to balance these two channels in the body. And the Sushumna is that center channel. I don't think I mentioned that, so I want to tell you that as well. So they're always working their way back to the balance of being centered, to the Sushumna. And they come together in the third eye, the Ida and the Pingala, to the Sushumna. And we want to create more of that sort of balance in our life. And you can do it with Nadi Shodhana. I'm going to do a very, very short version of it here, and probably not the really authentic yogi's version. So if you want to Google it to get a longer explanation and a more true to the tradition way of doing it, then do that. Because the truth is, I actually don't do it in the traditional way on purpose. And here's why. The traditional way uses the right hand, and in my nadis, my masculine is usually much stronger. It just is. That's how it is. And my right side of my body, which my right hand is, represents that. So I'm actually activating it more by using the right hand that's suggested for Nadi Shodhana. They suggest that you use your right hand and you're breathing back and forth out of the different nostrils to balance the energy, and you're using it all with the right hand. And typically there'll be two fingers that are here, rest here. The ring finger will close one nostril and the thumb will close the other. So you'll start with the left nostril open and you'll inhale, you'll close, the right nostril, and you'll inhale through the left. You close the left at the top of the nostril and you'll exhale out the right. And you'll inhale in the right, close it at the top, and exhale out the left. Inhale through the left, close it, exhale out the right. Inhale in the right, close it, and exhale out the left. You can also warm up by just closing one nostril and doing 5 breaths out of one nostril and 5 breaths out of the other. 5 out of one and 5 out of the other. Then you can start to alternate. And you can alternate as long as you like, beginning with the receptive side, the left, breathing in the left. What I actually do, though, you guys, you know me, I'm Miss Tantra. I really like to balance the masculine feminine, is I actually just do this, because this hand gets tired anyway when it does all the work, my right hand. So I just go back and forth like this with it, inhaling and out in that side, closing it, inhaling, exhaling and inhaling on this side, going like that. I just go back and forth, because to me, this creates more of an actual balance. And I'm all for ways in my body I can really feel. I'm an empath and I can feel the subtle energies moving, and I can feel how they affect my physical body. So I make adjustments according to what's working best for me, and I ask you to do the same thing, and I can only make suggestions according to what works for me. So our first B word is balance. Yay! And you want to balance your masculine, feminine energies, because the unity that happens at the third eye is amazing because of this balance, and you'll become more and more aware of it when you actually work to achieve that balance. So try Nadi Shodhana. Our second B word is brilliance. You could also say bright, brilliance and bright. And the first thing I think of is that this is the light chakra, right? That's why I brought it in. You want to remember that, first of all, your third eye is your light chakra. It's about light, letting light in, feeling the lightness within you, perhaps even the light in every cell of your body. Right now, there's a light energy that's moving in every cell of your body. Can you feel that? Can you imagine feeling that? Because with energy, just imagining makes it more real. It steers energy. Your imagination and your consciousness steer energy. Now, I also want you to think about light as a star, because you are a star. We are stardust and earth stuff, right? That's what we are. And when you look to the sky, you're connecting to the upper, right? You're connecting to the divine, to the mystery, to the galaxies. And because the night sky with all the stars is dark and mysterious, you're connecting to that feminine womb-like mystery that is such a big part of the third eye with all of its psychic aspects. So I want you to do this practice. Look to the stars as often as possible. And as you look at each star, feel that star baptizing your third eye. Find the brightest star or your favorite star in the sky, and then just connect to that star. And remember, you are stardust, and you come from spirit, will return to spirit, are made of spirit, and that star can baptize you to remind you that you are part of the cosmos, and that you are mysterious, and that you are magical, and that you are psychic, and that you are knowing, and you're knowing from the feminine heart. That is word number 2, brilliance and bright. You are an incredible gem. You are a star. Word number 3 is blind. Now, I wasn't sure to put this one in, but I fell in love with it because it just kept coming into my psyche, blind. This is the chakra that comes alive when we blind our eyesight. When we become blind to what our solar plexus chakra is, the visual chakra. It sees, it's connected to our sense of sight, and it's judgmental and discriminating. I say judgmental, but really, when it's healthy, it's only discriminating. But it says, I like this, I don't like that. I see this, and I see why that is happening. It's very discriminating. But it discriminates from an analytical place, whereas the insight versus the outer sight of your third eye discriminates from an inner knowing and feeling and a more feminine sense. It dives into the mystery of who we are, and it feels deeply into the truth. So when you close your eyes right now, just close your eyes. As you close your eyes, notice how you're more aware of what's going on within you. So this is the practice here, to blind yourself with a blindfold, to close your eyes throughout the day, to keep remembering to check in, to shut out the masculine external world and your thinking mind that's tied to your eyesight, so that you can tap into the awakening of the third eye that happens when you close off your sight. And it's really, truly that simple. Close your eyes and go within. That is our word number 3. Word number 4 is brain. Because it's up here, the third eye is tied to your brain. And one of the things that I see happen when people have an imbalance here is something called bipolar, which is another B word, but I didn't want to make it one of the main B words because it doesn't happen, obviously, to the majority of us. But it's important to know about. And it's important when you notice mood swings to be aware that they are just a smaller version of this larger thing we call this disease that we call bipolar. When we're swinging a lot in moods, it simply means we haven't connected the Ida and the Pingala. We're not balanced. We don't have the equanimity of our highest feminine, which sits in the world and has a very clear, loving, mature perspective of things. And when we're bipolar, it's usually because we're manically moving from the stars that we are, the star, the sky, down into the earth and back up to the sky and down to the earth. So the earth has a depressive energy, a heavy energy, and the sky has a mystical energy and an anxious, upper energized energy. Can you feel that? And it's when there's no balance or connection between those two. So be aware of how you feed your brain, how you treat your brain, and how your brain is behaving. Because when your brain starts to move into mood shifts, it starts to move into bipolar type fluctuations, even the lighter ones, then that is a sign that your brain, that you need to do maybe Nadi Shodhana, that you need to eat more brain foods. And I have, you could look at Third Eye foods, for instance, and I'll leave the link for that below. But I just want to remind you, your brain is tied to your third eye. And also, I want to mention that when the third eye, when you don't open it in the spiritual way, you can become only over analytical, meaning your brain is trying to do its thing, which it wants to do, which is work in both the mystical, the feminine, and the analytical, the masculine. But because you're not doing the mystical, it becomes overwrought in the left brain, in the analytical. So if you find that you're running analytical thoughts, doing what we like to call overthinking, right, then that's because that mystical side hasn't been opened enough. And you can just go to Nadi Shodhana. You can also read stories that are more mystical. You can do oracle cards and play with things that will open your intuition and your feminine side. All right, you guys, that's number 4. B word number 5 is beauty. A lot of people forget about this, that the third eye, and it makes sense, doesn't it? That the highest feminine chakra, we've got 2, 4, 6, sacral heart and third eye. The brow chakra and third eye, that's tied to beauty and the appreciation of beauty. And whenever I think of the third eye, I actually visualize a peacock opening and spreading its whole plumage, because every feather has a beautiful eye on it. And the colors are indigo and turquoise and even some purples and some blacks. It's just, the colors are exquisite. And while this chakra represents beauty, the key here is to find beauty in everything, because this is the chakra of no bias. This is the chakra that equalizes the judgment or bias that we would have in the solar plexus, in the mental mind, in the discriminating mind that's coming from the ego level. This is the more mature part of us that makes the distinctions and the discriminations and loves everyone because of their differences. And even though it isn't maybe your cup of tea, meaning that you might not want to do it or be it, you enjoy that somebody else is that. That's the energy of the third eye. And when I think of the third eye, I remember American Beauty, the movie, and that paper bag blowing in the wind, because it looks like a rhapsody blowing in the wind. And anything can be beautiful when you're looking through the eyes of God, when you're looking through the eyes of your higher self, when you're looking through the eyes of inclusion and love. And those are the eyes of the third eye, right? Okay, you guys, I love that. Speaking of that, the eyes of the third eye, I also wanted to say, I forgot to mention with the balance that for years I thought that the lotus symbol for the third eye, which is just the 2-petaled, it has only 2 petals coming out the sides, was an actual symbol of an eye. I just did. It took me years to realize, oh my goodness, it's actually the lotus. It makes sense. It's the 2-petal lotus. And that's exactly what it is. One part, if you use my tattoo, and I suggest using it while you sleep, which is a great time for the third eye, you're actually one side of the symbol. It looks like an eye, right? Because it's a 2-petaled lotus. And when you use that, one petal is the Ida and one is the Pingala. And it's interesting, I just did that with opposite hands. My left side body would be the Ida and then the Pingala with the right. It's almost like I was trying to balance it out in the way that I was doing it. So just notice that if you have my tattoos at home or if you're getting my tattoos, look at that. It's really cool. It looks like an eye, but it's a 2-petaled lotus. Okay, you guys, look for beauty. That will help you open and balance your third eye chakra. Number 6 is beautific. One, because I just think it is a beautiful word. Beautific, beautific. And I have beauty and beautific. Why? Because beautific actually means embodied holy bliss. It does. And this is the highest embodied chakra. When we get into the bliss of the crown, it's a bliss that's partially embodied. Like many yogis are almost out of their bodies. They're almost like when they come to the bliss, some of them have held postures in India with their bodies for years and years and years and years and years, and their bodies have been left to the side. And that is more of a masculine energy. Can you feel that? That's more of a crown type of bliss where we leave the body. The bliss here is an embodied one. It's where we connect. Like right now, visualize your higher self. Your higher self. Visualize your higher self and just invite your higher self into your body. Almost like just draw your higher self in right now, right into the middle of your being. That is the third eye. It's embodiment. It's knowing your higher self. Not just being connected to the bliss of everlasting life and of the divine, but being connected in an embodied way to this experience of being in the body and in bliss and spiritual. And that's also the same thing as being connected to your higher self. So one of the ways that you can feel more beatific is play with oracle cards and speak with your higher self. Maybe draw or paint a picture of your higher self. Isn't that cool? Or maybe if you have a friend who loves to draw and you don't consider yourself an artist at all, ask your friend. Really just describe your higher self and ask your friend to paint or draw a picture of your higher self. Or there's places like Fiverr that has really talented people on it. Fiverr, FIVERR.com. And no, I am not affiliated, but I really am a fan because you can go there and for $5 or $10, you can have someone paint you a picture or draw you a picture or share their art with you. So that's my suggestion for Beautific, that you get more connected to your higher self and more connected to your intuition by playing with oracle cards, which leads me into B word number 7, which is to, and you guys, I admit I had to cheat here a little bit. It's a 2-word phrase. I had to do it because we couldn't get out of the B words for the brow without something like this. Be intuitive. Be psychic, be clairvoyant. You can fill it in with any word, but I like intuitive because intuitive has the wider range of the word, of the meaning, which is one of the meanings is just listen to the little nudges within. You don't have to think of yourself as psychic. You can just listen to your body, to your little nudges, to your very being. Because as a feminine energy, the third eye actually comes through your body. It's an embodied thing. So it could be as simple as just listening to those voices, the nudges, the little just things, something that comes out of nowhere. It doesn't come out of your logic. It comes out of nowhere. And again, here, just as I was saying with Beautific, but even bigger here, you can play with oracle cards. There are so many. There are hundreds, probably thousands actually, in the world. And I love playing with them. And you can just pick a goddess card or pick a tarot card or pick any one of hundreds of the different types of oracle cards that there are out there. And as you do that, you're tapping into, well, what do I feel about this? And you're tapping into this mythical, magical, playful world of the stars that I was talking about, which is part of this brow chakra. It's part of that feminine. It's full of love and acceptance and mystery and joy and bliss and beauty. I think I've covered it all, you guys, and I kind of feel like I'm more in that state now. As we talked about it, it just brought me more and more into it. I hope it has done the same for you. Our next video is going to be on the crown chakra, so we're going to be looking at 7 C words, and I will see you on that one. Until then, I hope that you have a very insightful and fair, balanced, beautiful, loving, and intuitive week. Bye for now. Blessings.